Yo guys, what's going on? It's Matt here with UMB for another edition of our alert recap videos. Listen, if you're new to this series, to these videos, what we are doing here is an alert recap video for each day of the week, essentially. So we are making alert recap videos for our premium alert members in our Telegram uh, alert group that you see here on the left side of my screen. Every day we have alerts going out all day long, 10, 15, 20, 30 different alerts all day long. We are alerting where volume is. If something's kind of just starting to warm up, we're learning volume, VWAP spikes, VWAP reclaims, EMA reclaims, all kinds of good stuff. So if you're not getting these alerts, guys, and you would like to, please get in the comments, let us know. Make sure to subscribe to this video. Go on our socials and definitely, hit like, follow us. We got a wealth of information in there, and what we are essentially doing is tracking the market all day long, and we are sending out alerts on what is moving and where is everybody at, right? Because if you're in a stock where there's no volume, you can't make any money, right? So if you can find the volume and you can find your setups, you can make a lot of money. You just have to know how to trade. So we do not tell you, where to take an entry or where to exit a trade. We would never do that. What we do is tell you where to look, right? What tickers are actually moving. And then in these videos, what I do is present to you how I personally, as an analyst with UMB, would handle each alert as it comes out, and looking at the chart and breaking it down and telling you where I would or would not take an entry or kind of what happened there. So we're just going to jump right into it here. This is for Thursday, the 23rd. It was a monster of a day. I am a couple days behind here, so I'm trying to catch up on videos, but this is for Thursday, the 23rd. The 23rd started out at 5:13 in the morning with RGTZ. So RGTZ was alerted at $14.50. A little pricey, but let's see what it did. So it had fallen off. It had run the day before a little bit, and then it fell way off at market open, and then started to climb back up. And we thought, oh, okay, we saw some volume, coming through on our scanner here, and we're like, all right. So then it started to kind of fizzle out, and we thought, okay, well, maybe we're going to get another leg up. Well, we did exactly that. I don't think it did much the rest of the day. So anyway, this alert came through right here at let me see what time. 5:13. So that would have been on somewhere in this candle right here, this green candle. So as we started to kind of, as we popped back up and we started to consolidate in here, I don't have it drawn on my chart right now, but what I'm seeing, right? What do we always do? We talk about support and resistance, right? So we know, at very least, you would open your chart and you try to get a line here, right? I mean, this is where it was before 4 a.m. It had fallen way off. You try to get a line there. You might go like this and say, well, I got resistance way up here as well, but that's not really, that's not really going to come into play. And if it does, you would have taken a monster position before you even got there. So you got some resistance up there, fine. It dipped down. You got some support down here, right? So, you could quickly get a line on that down. Hold on. Give me a second here. You could quickly get a line down here like that. You could say, okay, that's where it fell off to. Yeah, we got some wick down here, which is fine. You could put a line down there too as well. I mean, you can see it wicked over here down there. Regardless, we are up here in this consolidation, and what we're actually kind of seeing here is more of a squeeze than anything else, which is not really something that I have taught you guys or talked about. But essentially, if I go like this from this high here, and I try to connect these bodies in there, something like that, and then I take another horizontal line and I place it in here as support, you can see what happened as we got to our squeeze, right? So we had some pretty ranging consolidation in here, and as we get further into the squeeze, we are making lower highs, right? As you can see, but we're kind of keeping that same support. So that is indicative of a squeeze coming. We know that by the time this trend line, this downtrend line that we're drawing, and this support line, by the time they get to a point, something's going to happen. And look what happened right here. Bam, it broke out. Now, with that said, the proper way to have played this one would have been, well, there's a lot of ways you could have done it, but the easiest way for sure, because you knew you had kind of this high in here, would have said like, okay, let me get a break of that, right? Because we resisted it here, we resisted it here, we fell back down. You're on VWAP, which is good, right? We fell a little bit below VWAP, and then you're thinking like, well, if it doesn't break there, I'm not taking a position, right? So, which it would have been the right mindset. But if you had known also to draw this trend line here, you would have saw that it was also coming to a squeeze. So what you would have done is waited for it to break out of this squeeze and then waited for it to come back down and test the backside of that trend line, which again is a strategy that we have not gone over yet. Regardless, even if you waited for it to break up here, you would have taken that position at 1475 and you would have rode that all the way up to 1726. So, you know, not a bad move in here, right? Especially being so early in the morning. After that, it fell off in waves. It fell way back down here, almost to that support line. Then we got this monster spike right here, which really nobody could have seen coming outside of reading the tape and order flow. It pulled back again to almost the same support line. We got another nice run up. So there was lots of scalp plays on this thing the majority of the day, except for in here until it fell, you know, it fell all the way off and then came back up. But so that was RGTZ. Not a, you know, monster run on the day, but certainly a lot of opportunity. So let's see, SGBX was the next one. SGBX, that was at 531 at 393. I think this was running the day prior on Wednesday. Let's just see, what time is this? That's not where we want to be. Over here somewhere. So we had some spikes up, and then it fell off, and our alert came through on like one of these spikes somewhere, like after it pulled back in here. So we spiked up, we pulled back, we spiked up, we pulled back, and we tried to get you this alert right here thinking, hey, this thing's going to go. But this is exactly why you need to be reading the charts, right? This is a perfect one. So let's just move this line right now, right up here. You knew you had resistance there. Let's change that one to red. We know it's resistance. You knew that you had resistance here. Really support. If price is above, you know, your line, then it should be green. It's support. If it's below, then it should be resistance, right? It's just an easy way to think about it. There's a lot more to support and resistance than just making lines on, you know, where the tops were, which we're going to go over in another video. So this alert came through right here, right as we touched the VWAP. So the first thing, you know, price was below that line, so this still actually would have been red, right? And because we fell back below it, it was support. We were hoping, okay, we'll get a pullback, we land on support and go. Well, it didn't. It came down, it got onto VWAP, it shot right back up, but it rejected that line, right? It shot up, it couldn't get through that initial support, and then it just fell off after that. So without breaking this guy, or really even this guy up here, there was no play to be had in here. Now the rest of the day, if you went back to it and you pulled it back up, there really wasn't a lot going on the rest of the day. The volume just wasn't there. In here, we started to get some, you know, a little bit of hits. That was like, actually, I'm sorry, that was Friday. So that's how far out my chart is there. Anyway, that's what SGBX was. You know, we thought, especially after that pop in the after hours the day before, we thought, okay, hey, we're going to get, you know, another run out of it. It didn't go. So sometimes they do that and they just don't, you know, they just don't present the play. But that's why we make these videos, so that you can see, hey, this is what we're seeing, and this is how I would have played it as, you know, as an analyst. So let's go through here. We'll just kind of keep moving, and just give me 1 second. 1 second here. Hold on. All right, give me 1 second. So I'm back. I'm sorry. MGN. So MGN came through at 6 a.m. exactly. I don't remember if this did anything. Well, let's take a look at it. It came through as a volume spike at $3.19 at 6 a.m. Let me see. I'm betting that that's what that is there, but it is not. That was the day before. Here we go. On the 23rd at 6 a.m. So it had spiked in after hours the day before, right? Spiked up and then fell off immediately. It was kind of, I mean, it's more or less a pump and dump. Didn't fall off all the way, but close. So we got down here. We opened up. when the market opened at 4 o'clock, it actually fell off, consolidated, then we had a spike back up, and then it just fell off. So once we got this spike back up, the alert came out right about here, MGN at $3.19, which was here. The next candle opened a little higher, but then immediately fell off, right? And the next one fell off. So, and keep in mind, this is the 5-minute chart too, so it would be easier to go like this and show you the 1 minute. So this is the 1 minute chart. Let's see. Go back to that. Where was it? MGN at 319. So at exactly 6 a.m. So that was this candle here, somewhere down here. So when you got this alert on this candle, you would have been needing a pullback to take a position. You don't really want to chase this climb up. If you had bought right away, okay, you could have rode from 319 up to 370, not a bad move at all. 40, 50 cents, whatever that is. Not a bad move, but it's not recommended that you do that. At least I don't play that way. I need to see some kind of pullback into support, and I need to be able to look at my indicators and see that my MACD is open, which it was in this case. I need to see good volume. I need all that stuff to kind of confirm itself before I really just chase something. There are times where we all chase, including myself, and there's times that call for that. This would not have been one of them for me. So this was MGN. There was really no play on it without a pullback. It just climbed up there and then pulled right back. So after that happened, it was dead. It was dead all day. So there was nothing there. All right, we'll just keep moving. I know we had an absolute monster in here. Let's look at AREB. I actually really like this ticker. I'm not sure what it did. We've been playing it for weeks. I mean, I've played it dozens and dozens of times. Let's see, AREB 710 at 293. So 710. All right, so we started getting some volume pullback. And we got, another spike here, and 710 in this pullback, we decided to alert it because we also got a review op, right? So you open this thing up, and you saw the alert right here. Well, what was the first thing you're going to do? You need to know where's your resistance. Like if I take a position because everything's lining up for me, where is my resistance? So it's right above you, right? So you could mark the wick, you could mark the body. I really like to kind of just go with the body, especially on a 1 minute chart. If you're on a higher time frame, I would definitely be marking wicks. So you needed, when you open this up, you're like, great, we're right on VWAP. I got a high. All I need to do is break this high. Let's bounce off of VWAP. Let's get a break and then a retest and then go. Well, that did not happen. We fell below VWAP. We danced here. We popped back up. We resisted that exact same spot. We fell back below VWAP. And then just kind of continued all day, and then we had a spike here. So, and keep in mind, these are 1 minute candles. So this is what happened here. We got our spike, if you were watching this. We blasted through that high. We immediately pulled back down, and we fell back through. We couldn't hold that support line. We almost did here, but it fell through. We came back up. Right here, we closed, we held. You could have taken a position here, and hands down, this would have been the spot to do it. We reclaimed VWAP. You waited for a 1 minute candle to close. The next one opened up, was green and rising. You took your position because look below you. We got strong volume and the MACD saying go, right? The MACD is wide open. This is definitely a buy position for a VWAP reclaim. I can't remember if I took it or not. However, as you can see, it didn't really work out, right? If you took your position here at 324, okay, you ran up to like 340. Maybe you just got out quick because you were worried about it rejecting here, which would have been the play, which is actually exactly what it did. And I'm sorry for not pointing that out, but you would have then had a line there as resistance. It came up, it resisted, and just danced around and came back down. So you would have taken your profit there, especially after you saw this doji, right? We came up and you were still in this candle, and we hit your high. If you were holding on to your position to kind of for a break, which maybe I would have been, and then it closed with like this almost doji here, I would have bailed right there, knowing that something's not right. So especially as we got into the next candle and the VWAP flipped on, or the MACD flipped on itself and started closing. So that was that position. The same exact thing, well, not exact, but it kind of happened here, right? We reclaimed VWAP, we came down, we retested. You took your position, you popped right up. I mean, it was actually a good little quick scalp, 320 to 345 right there, but it couldn't get through that resistance, and then it fell off. And the rest of the day, we kind of hung out under VWAP, and that was it until later in after hours. So right at just before 4 p.m. started, we had a nice run up where we did actually end up breaking that high. So that could have been a good play in there. But that's that's the importance of watching these things all day, right? Is you got to look for these setups and know where your resistance is to be able to take a position. Let's see. I'm just going to keep right on moving. All right, our alert of the day, no question, guys. I mean, I hope that somebody got on this thing with us because I know we played it like crazy. SCNX, what an absolute beast. I was charting it earlier and had some stuff going on here. I'm just immediately going to go to the 5-minute because there's just a lot of information on this chart. Let's see. So I'm going to kind of crunch it down a little bit, but look at this beast. It actually ran from our alert at 88 cents. We sent this out at 8:30 in the morning. It ran to $2.98. I mean, just what a beast. So this is the 5-minute chart just so I can show you this whole move. It was just absolutely beautiful. But we'll just kind of quickly go into the 1-minute, and I'll blow it up a little bit for you and look at it on a smaller level. So, all right, so let's see. 88 cents. That alert came through at 8:30 a.m., which was in this blue box somewhere. I had it there. We're going to get rid of it. It came through right here on this, on that red down bar, right? So, so what were we looking for, right? Well, you open this chart, you're like, okay, we got a nice little climb, man. We got some support and some resistance in here. Get some lines going. Certainly one right here where we topped out, right? That would have been a good spot to mark. Let's get one probably in here, I would say, just because of these tops and where that guy shot off. Somewhere in here. It's probably more of a zone than a line, but that's okay. I don't know why this thing's not cooperating for me. And then we pulled back into here, right? So you would have, I mean, it basically tried to come down and sit on this support. It just didn't make it there. So I wouldn't really call this support, but you could put one there anyway. All right, so now, you got these kind of 3 support lines below you. Again, where did this thing come out? At 8:30. So, and that was actually up in here somewhere. It was all the way up here. So for sure, then you would have had another line here, right? Marking kind of the tops of these wicks. All right. And then the alert came out exactly on this guy here, this red one. So you had all this information before you, right? You had these lines before you, and you're like, all right, cool. We just made a new high, which is here. So that's now resistance as well. We're pulling back. Hey, let's get back down to like maybe somewhere in here, or a heavier one would have been this guy here. Well, what happened? It pulled back. We go into a doji. It kind of signals a reverse. It climbs back up. It like does one of these, right? It consolidates a little longer, makes another little high. It's making higher highs, but they're not like extremely high highs. They're just kind of like quick dips and higher highs, which is a good sign. It's definitely not a bad sign. But look what happened in here. Now we got our proper pullback all the way back under VWAP. We breached our support line here, but then we quickly reclaimed it and quickly came up. So the play probably for me on this, as this alert came out right here, or I'm sorry, it was up here on this guy, and we made a higher high here. I would have then been waiting in here for another pullback, but I would have probably been looking for something in here. And when it took off in there, I would have missed my entry there, and I would have been waiting for yet another pullback. I don't think I actually got in this thing until we were over here somewhere. But so then it pulled all the way back. It broke through VWAP. We bounced. We came back up. In here, we essentially had a VWAP reclaim play, which you could have done, and rode that up, down, and up. Now, the problem with looking at the 1-minute chart, guys, is, and I'm guilty of this too, is like there's so much commotion on it, and it's so difficult to it is so difficult to read through all the chop and get an accurate picture of like what's going on behind these candles, right? There's other ways to do that. One good thing that can really help you is, or actually two things. The Heikinashi, and I hope I'm saying that, I'm probably butchering it. The Heikinashi candles. If you switch to them, watch what happens to my chart, right? It's much cleaner. So that can help you, although I don't use them a lot, but it can really help you to stay in a winning trade longer because you don't get so many like mixed signals. The only time you're going to see a red candle is if it's actually like a lot of red volume and you're actually going into a pullback and like the MACD probably is closed off or flipped in that location. That's really the only time. So in other words, like if you're in it, you're not like you don't get to this spot here and the next one's red, which it might have been, just not on the Heikinashi candles. The next one's red, starts dropping, and you're like, oh man, I gotta get out, right? We're dropping. Well, no, we're not, because according to these candles, we just stayed green the whole time. So the idea with them is like, it's just supposed to give you a cleaner chart and be able to give you more confidence to kind of stay in and less anxiety and stress. Anyway, try them out if you're interested. Um, the other bit of information here would have been like to go to a larger time frame, like a 5 minute or something, right? And watch a 5 minute. I mean, a 5 minute time frame, especially with the Ashi candles, is like really crazy. I mean, look how clean this is, right? Like just super, super clean. In here, you could have rode that entire move up right here. So what we actually did was get these, you got this consolidation. We got a nice spike. We would have caught that. A pullback, another nice spike. A pullback right to VWAP. We consolidated on VWAP, and then bam, what happened, right? We squeezed out of it. So for sure, this was another squeeze play that occurred that we were all over, and we knew was coming one way or the other, right? If we marked this high down here like this, and we marked our support line in here, like basically like this, we knew that this squeeze was coming. It broke out a little early of our our triangle here, our support and our downtrend line, and then went from there. But man, just what an absolute beast! This was just a killer day for this alert, and I really hope you guys got it. I'll keep moving here just in the interest of time. Where are we at? 22 minutes. So I like to try and keep these videos around 30, 35 minutes if possible. I do not cover all the tickers. It would be really difficult, and the videos would be 4 hours long if I even attempted to. So let's look at something else. Let's see. I don't know. SLMT, right? That went out at 9:27. SLMT. Let's see, 920. Oh, I'm on the Hikinashi candles, which I'm going to change for now. Let's see, 23rd. So we had a nice spike up around 6:30 in the morning, and then it fell way back off, and we just didn't really care about it after that. And then I'm still on the. There we go. 1 minute. There we go. And then at 9:27 at $12.62. So 9:27 was, I don't know, somewhere all the way in here. Let's see. All right, so we had fallen off, and then we had no volume in here. It was just horrible volume. Then all of a sudden, we started getting an uptick in volume. So what we did was we sent this alert out, unfortunately, right here, as once we started seeing this climb. But the wicks were horrible. We sent the alert out anyway, just to kind of keep an eye on it, because volume started, as you can see, there was no volume. The MACD opened, volume started pouring in down here. We started climbing, and we said, okay, alert, right? So the alert went out right here, and then it immediately fell off, and then it climbed back up, and we had like a VWAP reclaim little scalp here. We had a VWAP bounce scalp, and a bounce scalp, and a bounce scalp, right? So you could have played that 3 times in there. And then again, another bounce. I mean, there was all kinds of plays on this thing all day. They were small, but it was great for quick scalps. So not a huge runner on the day, but that's fine. That's essentially how I would have played that one. Let's kind of keep moving here. BYND, we all know about this one. I don't know what this was doing Thursday. I know it died yesterday finally. I think, anyway. I kind of hope so. But on Thursday, BYND came through at 11:20. That was more like closer to the middle of the day. So we sent this alert through. We had a VWAP reclaim, a retest, and then a go. And we started getting up here, and we got above this recent resistance, and we sent it through at 11:21. So that was right here on this candle here. So what was the first thing you were going to do? Well, we were at our previous resistance right here. It was the exact same height, basically. Let's see, 336. Yeah, it was pretty much the exact same height. So we were at our resistance. So you would have had a line there and said, all right, well, I need to get through that first. Well, we were just through it. We would have, you as soon as you opened it, if you were fast enough to make that line, you could have said, okay, well, we broke that resistance and we're coming down and we're retesting, and which we did right here on this candle, right? We broke, we opened, we retested, we opened, we went up. That's a position. Boom. The next one opened, it pulled down, it closed below, you cut immediately, right? So you cut right there for a small loss. It dipped, it tested, it couldn't get through. It came back down, it came up, it definitely broke and went. So if you stayed on this watching a little bit, you would have taken another position here. And, you would have rode that from 341 to 360, right? 20-cent move, not a bad scalp. It would have pulled back in here. As soon as this candle got past, kind of like halfway in here, I probably would have cut, just thinking it's going to come back pretty hard. Which it did, and that was a big dip. I would have then probably I would have played the 5-8-13 reclaim. So as soon as this one closed, I would have re-entered. We popped up. We kind of resisted. We pulled back a little. We broke through. We came back. We tested. We broke through. And then we got a doji. I would have bailed there on that doji candle, thinking we're getting a reverse, which we did, but it just tested this support again and went. So that's why it's important to mark these lines. I always talk about them. And then I don't know if the rest of the day it did much. It just fell off and was probably just full of scalps. So let's go a little deeper in. MSAI at 96 cents. It wasn't too much deeper in the day, but let's just do that. MSAI was right after that at 11:22. 11:22 was in here somewhere, right here, right? So again, not a whole lot of chart history back here. You could have marked here and there and here as support. We know that, right? 11:22 was this candle right here. Let's see. Yes, this candle right here. So that's perfect, right? Because you had a line above you right away, and you're like, all right, I need to break that, right? Or I need a good pullback down into here. So we came up, we broke, it kept going. You didn't take a position. You waited for it to pull back and retest. It held. You took your position, and you got this quick scalp in here. Probably not a monster move, but again, just a safe way of playing these things. So once this thing closed, you took your position in there up to here, and you got a 17% scalp. Boom. That's exactly how it works, right? So we're not looking to hold these things all day. We're not looking for 100% moves. We don't get them every day. We got this monster deal on SCNX, but even that, you weren't going to buy at the bottom and hold all the way to the top. If you did, more power to you, but we don't play that way. We go in for these scalps from essentially support and resistance zones. That's really all we do here at UMB. And if you do it right and you do it well, you can make yourself a lot of money. So let's see. After that, we had a VWAP reclaim. We came back. We tested for another little scalp there. We came down. You're probably thinking, hey, let's get a VWAP bounce. Well, we failed to hold VWAP in this location. It broke. It tested. It came back below. It came back down to that original support line, came back up. We reclaimed. We never got the retest of it in here. So I don't know. I don't think I actually took a position in here until we fell back down in here on and held this support and then popped up. And then bam, look at that move there. I mean, that was a good one. So we ran from, I don't know. I mean, if you played the VWAP reclaim here, you ran from $1.05 up to $1.45, right? 40-cent move. Just that was a really good one. So MSI was kind of tricky, kind of choppy. Volume was in and out. If you look down here at the volume coming in, it was in and out all day, but certainly in this area it was pretty strong. In the beginning part of the move, it was pretty strong. Definitely presented some opportunities for us. So let's just keep going. I'm going to try to get a little later in the day, maybe after hours. Let's do one or two in there. So immediately, MIRA popped up right at 4 p.m. So you guys know, right at 4 p.m., we get news drops, we get volume on stuff that hasn't been running, we get fresh, stuff going, and it can present a lot of opportunities. So right at 4 p.m. At the close of the market, which was this guy here, this alert went out, or no, went out here, right? So we got this initial spike, the alert came out. You would have said to yourself, well, we need to break, close and break above this high here. Well, it never did. It kind of fell off like this, danced around. It kind of broke that high, but no, certainly not with any real volume. So that was not a good one. But look at the way it broke out. I mean, every one of our 4 p.m. breakouts start like this with two monster spikes, or at least one big monster spikes. Every one of them that runs hard starts out just like this. So this had potential. It had to, this alert had to get out there for you guys to see it and make your own decision on. ASNS was 2 minutes later. ASNS. Let's look at that. All right, and there's your initial spike, right? So at 6:02, let's see. ASNS, no, 4:02 p.m., just as market closed, this thing went out at 56 cents, which was all the way down here, actually. So the alert went out. We got this monster spike. You would have been waiting for a pullback. That's what I always tell you. But this is the area where you can, the way that I play these when we come into the after hours is, if I'm on it with that initial spike and I don't actually get the pullback, which we did in here, this one actually pulled back to about half. I will take a position if the volume is pouring in strong and my MACD is open and we're climbing. I will take a position, but only about half size, just to see what happens, right? If we come into a pullback and it rests and, and we start coming back up, I'll add more. Those are the ways that I play this. So this thing opened up. You could have taken a position in here. This hammer actually would have maybe told, well, maybe it would have maybe been indicative of a reversal here, but not necessarily. With the volume of the MACD open, boom, we rocked out of that hammer into another candle, and then we fell down into consolidation. So once we got in here and we couldn't really get back over VWAP, this thing was kind of dead, right? So it was just that initial move, but really from the alert, we ran 56 cents to 97 cents. So probably a good 30-40% move in there. Not bad if you were able to just hop on that 70% move. I'm sorry. So not a bad alert. If you open this thing up and bought, $100 right away, and held to the top somehow, you got $70 out of that. So more power to you. That would have been awesome. So SEV, we'll do one more here. I have no idea. I'm just looking through these. I don't really know what if any of this stuff ran. Nothing really matters, but let's see. We'll do QLGN. I think I remember that one being good. QLGN. So that came through at 4:11, not much longer after. So we spiked up. We got into a pullback. We said, let's get this alert out just in case this thing wants to climb. You knew you had to get to break this recent high before you, which we did here. We had a retest. You could have entered. We came up. We would have fell back here. For me, if I entered here, my cut would have been down here. I would have just sized appropriately, right? You would have entered here at $4.95 and with a cut down at like 4.60. So we're talking about like a 35-cent, drop. So I would not have been in this initial position with any serious size because I would have known that, like, hey, in order for me to give this thing all the opportunity it needs to dip without failing, I need to let it get down here to like 460. So that's the part of trading that a lot of people don't necessarily understand when they enter a trade. It's essentially starting to get into the topic of risk reward. You enter the trade, you have a set stop in your head, mental or physical, and you have a take profit target, and they have to be, obviously your take profit has to be 2, 3, 4x your set stop, right? So that you actually have a fighting chance of being profitable on the day as a cumulative total. Again, another topic that we can talk about later. So you would have taken your position. I would have not cut yet. This thing popped right back up. Boom, 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 all the way up here until we had a high in here of about 623. So this alert went out at 470 and ran to 623. I mean, this was actually a really good one. And I hope you guys took advantage of this thing. So it went out in here. You would have taken a position. I would have taken a position in there. 25% move. I mean, just a great scalp, right? A great play. So after hours has been on fire recently. So for all you guys that haven't been watching after hour alerts or been on charts, and you're watching this video, make sure you start doing that if you can at all. So there was a bunch more all the way up through almost 8 o'clock, actually. Last one was AWX at 745. So there was a lot here today, guys. I appreciate you watching this video. As I always say in these videos, if there's an alert that I did not cover from this day, Thursday the 22nd, I think, did I get that right? Thursday the 23rd, I'm sorry. If there was an alert that I did not cover that you would like me to do so, I would be happy to do so. Just get in the comments, let us know what that alert was. I will make you your own video entirely, and we will break it down for you. So that's it for this alert recap video. Stay tuned. I will do Friday the 24th as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.